candidates. We have seen Nene Freda Gomez is contesting on the CA for Serekunda West constituency. And today we're expecting to have GDC, Gambia Democratic Congress Party, will be at the different IEC regional offices to escort their candidates who they are putting up to the contest ahead of the next election. We understand Gambia Action Party is also scheduled to appear today, but then we understand they are not putting up any candidate for this upcoming parliamentary election. We will be speaking to the party leader, Musayeli Bachili, or the spokesperson of the party during the program. Gambia for All Party, BB Double Party, is also scheduled to appear today at 3 p.m. We will find out whether they're putting up any candidate or not. And Sumana, I mean, we have seen so far, I mean, APRC putting up 7 candidates. I mean, CA, I mean, the US baby, in a political arena, also putting up 11 candidates. Yeah. I mean, All People's Party, APP, putting up 1 candidate in Lower Salon by the name Ibu Gay. I mean, it's quite interesting, right?
Absolutely. I mean, during the last parliamentary elections, I mean, we didn't have parties like CA or even the Gambia for All. So for me, Ali, what I find most interesting actually, you know, in this year's parliamentary elections is the fact that you have parties like CA, I mean, you know, were formed barely a year ago. I mean, putting up 11 candidates, wherein we have some of the parties that have been here for, you know, for the past, you know, 5-10 years who have not even put up a candidate for whatever reason. So I think, for me, if anything, it shows the party's ambitions going forward. And I think it shows that they are a serious party as well. And I like the fact that you have women also taking part. You have so many women, you know, showing interest to take part in this year's parliamentary elections compared to the last elections, which I think is also a very welcoming development.
Well, like you said, we hope the number will increase when GDC appear to present their candidates. So far, we have only 2. As of yesterday, we had 2 women in the name of Kadi Kamara of Fonyi Bondale constituency on the APRC, and like I said, Nene Freda Gomez, spokeswoman of the CA contesting in Serekunda West constituency. But are you foreseeing more women coming up?
Absolutely. I mean, I am foreseeing more women, especially when, you know, within the KMC and West Coast region areas. Yes. Yes,
thank you very much, Ansumana. I understand our colleague Ajibintu Drama is currently on the line from the IEC regional office. Ajibintu, if you can hear me loud and clear, what is the latest there?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. What more can you tell us from the IEC regional office there in Kanifing?
Okay, yes, right now we are at the Kanifing administrative region at the election house. So everybody, especially journalists, are waiting for the candidate, for the aspirants to come, GDC aspirants. So we were expecting 4 aspirants today, from 3 from GDC and 1 from GSA.
So we were expecting 4 aspirants today
from MC Cham and Modu Jane. So I'm speaking to the IEC returning officer for this.
MC Cham and Modu Jane. So I'm speaking to the IEC returning officer for this administrative region, Joseph. He has took us through from the verification process at the building behind me here to tell us how the verification process goes. So one of the crucial things he said is about when it comes to a person giving signatories to 2 candidates, so automatically one of them will be disqualified. And today in the morning, just soon as I arrived, we have met one of the candidates, APRC, who was giving back his documents from yesterday to bring it back so that he can give his full documents. So today he was verified here. He has been verified as a nominated candidate for the parliamentary elections. So, and I spoke to the IEC returning officer here, Mr. Joseph. He told us everything is running. He told us everything is running smoothly, and one of the problem is they are facing signatories when candidates are coming, because the signatories should be 300 at least, or a little bit over 300 signatories aspirants should bring. So some of them, they have bring an overwhelmingly staggering number like 800. So those are not been verified or should be qualified. They will reduce it to 300, or at least a little bit of 300, like I mentioned, so that things will be fast and quick. So he mentioned that if candidates do not bring some crucial documents, which is a deposit of $5,000 is in your account, a clearance, income tax clearance, if they don't bring it, they will be automatically be rejected, or they will send them, they will give them back their documents to bring the full documentations, and they will be given a deadline from on the 12th and 13th of this month.
Yes, I mean, you talk about the issue of disqualifying if one is found not meeting the requirements, or perhaps you are found forging some sort of signature somehow. Has there been any casualties so far? Any victim of such?
No, not yet, because like I said, APRC, a candidate, Suleiman Jammeh from Bundung Kakunda, was not rejected fully, but was given back his documents to bring them fully, and he just submitted it earlier this morning, soon when we arrived here. So, like I mentioned, it was. It meets to standard, and the IEC returning officer for this administrative region, Mr. Joseph, verified him today.
Yes, just briefly, Aji Bintu, for the sake of viewers in the local languages, mun nga ñu wax ne fan nga nekk ne ak lan moo nekk di xewagum fale ca Kanifing IEC regional office bi.
Wow, comme mbokk yi nu ma ko doon waxee si olof rek, si English rek ma bantu ko si olof. Right now ñu ngi Kanifing election house si KMC administrative region bi. So ñun ak suma mbokki journalist yi ñu ngi xaar aspirants yu ñëw tey from GDC ak GFA. Dañoo expect ñetti candidate aspirants from GDC ak benn from GFA. So gannaaw loolu building bu nekk si suma gannaaw nii gaay ñu yóbbu foofu noonu pour ñu won ni nu ndee seegalee mbir bi, pour la xam ne dara du taxa suuf daal, pour la xam ne ñu won ñu luñ lee def benn mun a accept aspirants yi, maanaam ñu jóg pour taxaw njiiti fii. So léegi benn bi moo nekka pour ñu indi 300 signatories from si gox bu gaay jógee. So beneen bi moo nekka $5,000 yi leen war a deposit si leen war a deposit, ak tamit seen income tax clearance tamit ndax taxaw na. Am na yeneen tamit yu si gën a bari na, waaye yii ñoom ñoo gën a fës daal pour ñu am ko. So gannaaw loolu fii ba 12 daal ñu ngi xaar gaay, te 12 léegi tey mu pare is just 11:57 fii. So ñu ngi xaar gaay pour ñu ñëw daal ñu agsi ñu indi seen documents yi yëpp jàkkaarloo IEC returning officer bi fii ñu waxtaan ñu seet ndax indi neen seen kayit yëpp ndax mët na. Su mututee ñu jox leen ko, delloo leen ko, ñu jox gaay deadline on the 12 ak 13 of month bi ñu indi ko. Suñ ko rombee rek duñ leen mun a joxaat seen duñ mun a taxawaat daal. So loolu laa leen amaloon tey.
Aji Bintu, just briefly balaa nga dem, am na loo doon jéem a wax si wàllu Suleiman Jammeh ki nga xam ne mu ngi war a contest APRC fële ca Bundukakuda constituency. Xam ne ni Saturday ñëwoon na fa ak ay nattanga pour ñëw nominé, waaye wax nga ne tey delluwaat na si IEC office bi xanaa lan ma ko waral.
Waaw, Suleiman moom mutalutoon yenn kayitam yi mututoon. So léegi nag ñu jox ko léegi buñ ko joxee pour mu mutali yëpp mu ñëw fii mu submit yëpp. Léegi IEC chairman bi nag verify ko mu ne ko ne mu jox ko ndigal bi ne comme war naa dem daal.
jërëjëf aji bintu Dramé kooku moo nekk sunu naataango nga ne moo ñu nekkalal fale ca IEC regional office bi nekk fii ci Kanifing mbadi ngol melbe QTV jube kan katnala ko albe QTV jube kan, and then we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. My name is Aliou Cissé. I'm here with my colleague Ansumana Estonyasi. Ko nga fale nyamen drong nomination wala commencé da kabring sibiti lungo ngalon ko député carte fayo bina kan, and then momo la takalo foita e yira IEC yela kaytulu sambaji ka tande ko yeri ko sol be mit pour ka député sirango nyini ko nga fale nyamen ngaje kabring sibiti lungo mo jaman tata pour ka kela kaytolo samba comme alia moy na report ya fanyam aji bitu Dramé ñin tambento BIEC la regional office be Kanifing on Kairaba Avenue e be mo nan le expectant ako mo saba wala bonan Gambia Democratic Congress Party wala mo GDC aning mo killing abona from Gambia for all party BB wala party wala ñenta kana kana IEC la regional office member Kanifing bare nga fale nyamen donc na kibata ta dol fanam be brikamale dol be kerewan massa konko janjambure anim basse pour ka mexo ko mo fen ketaje donc sa natala jan live QTV jam ansumana you have heard from Ajibitu Dramé, I mean GDC coming up with 3 candidates today for KM. We can confirm that MC Cham is one of them, yes, for Joshua constituency, and Gambia for all. One candidate.
I mean, like I said, Aliou, GDC, of course, during the past parliamentary elections, they did put up. Okay.
So exactly. I'll come back to you. I understand my colleague Ibrahim Jallo from Janjanbureh is also on the line now, live from Janjanbureh. Ibrahim, should I say good afternoon now from our studios? What is the latest from Janjanbureh today?
Good afternoon, Aliou, and good afternoon, viewers. We are still in QTV. Here we are at Janjanbureh IEC office this afternoon. GDC just coming. Presently, Esa Jamanka from Nyamina Dankuku constituency is inside for his nomination.
Esa Jamanka from Nyamina?
I think he said Nyamina East.
Nyamina Dankuku.
Nyamina Dankuku constituency.
Okay, Nyamina Dankuku GDC.
Yeah, Nyamina Dankuku, Esa Jamanka, GDC, candidate representing GDC at Nyamina Dankuku, Esa Jamanka.
So basically, what do we know about this Esa Jamanka?
Sorry?
Basically, what can you tell us about this Esa Jamanka?
Esa Jamanka is a young boy. He's a very young boy, and he's so much competent. And just by looking at him, you will get to know that he's really ready for the elections coming. So right now we are here at the IEC office. The situation here is very calm. Yeah, though they come with lot of fans that behind them that to come and support them on their nomination this afternoon. Sorry.
Were you able to talk to him just to find out why he is contesting?
Yeah.
Or why he's aspiring to contest?
That by the time when he's done, if he's out, then
okay,
I will let.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Just briefly in the local languages, Ibrahim.
Assalamualaikum musidal. No andi roni rek. QTV ay joni wona mendo to Janjanbureh IEC sudu mapendu wondu to Janjanbureh tundu makatio. To wondoni rek GDC nabe ko kambe woni fuddade nomination o nyalorma do to Janjanbureh IEC office. Wondo nder to wonade wadde nominate ni ko woni Esa Jamanka imo roto Nyamina Dankuku constituency. No woni ɗon rek andari situation on wayno ni joni no moƴƴi no waɗi kam no deji haydilere goto ala kono welti kono no ɓe arde fans maɓɓe ya heewi tew pour argol waɗaɓe support ɓe taw nomination maɓɓe o wawa yarude yeeso assalamu aleykum maɗigol comme ga fo ñaami doron ni kam winde Janjanbureh IEC office ɓe nomination o ñila kuwola hani kabi bile keɗaɗe altini sabati felenti hani kabi Janjanbureh la IEC ɗum mbata muɓe Janjanbureh sate kono ɓe dami sante GDC le futata bugoñi kono pour kana ila nomination o damuta mais ɓe ɓum kono wole keta Esa Jamanka ti Esa Jamanka muyalate ɓotana Nyamina Dankuku constituency eɓe atele nominate kat santen tuma ɗo inchallah ñala sonta ñafindita moɓe ɓe ɓulata nomare inchallah ñala son o ñajiɓe polɓe ñami jan sante office oni to o ɓeɓe tenkumi o ɓeɓe tenku do ini fan jamale nata mo jamale ɓulata e noma pour kana kafoy ka pour ila nomination o fitano ñaɗile kon okki luma ɗon lakkal rek moy ne ɓeɓe ñu ngi si nomination bi fi ñu leen nuyu de bàyyi ko si QTV bi fu mu nekk nii nag léegi ñu ngi Janjanbureh IEC house fu nga xam ne jaay GDC ñoo nekkal fu mu nekk fii fu nga xam ne mooy Esa Jamanka mu ngi bàyyi ko si Nyamina Dankuku constituency moo ñëw léegi pour defar nomination bi fu mu nekk nii nag place bi mu ngi fay amul benn coow nit ñëpp ñu ngi fay ñu ngi ànd ak kontaan ak jaama fu mu nekk nag gars yi ànd na ak seen fans yu bari toppane leen pour ñëw bokkat ñoom pour seen nomination bi mun a dem si kanam fii si Janjanbureh IEC office loolu lañ amaloon fii si jamono bi ni incha allah su neexee yàlla léegi te Essa su génnee mun nañ ko dugal si mobile bi mun a waxtaan ak yéen si wàllu nomination am bi ak lu tax mu taxaw pour nekk député ci tunduam bi.
jërëjëf Ibrahima Diallo sun correspondent ka moo ñu toogal fële ca Janjanbureh ci IEC regional office yi mooy doon jox latest update from there. I mean, Ansumana, we just got information regarding some of the candidates that the GDC is putting up. We have Simon I. Gomez for Fonyi Bintang constituency, Modu Jane for Serekunda West constituency. We have Ibrahim Nyang, Latikunda Sabiji constituency, and then Modu King Koli for GDC, also contesting for Brikama South constituency. MC Cham, like I said earlier on, Joswan constituency. We have Alpha Umar Jallo, GDC, also contesting for in the Same constituency. We have Alaji Iso, is currently the National Assembly member for Jemara constituency. Is seeking re-election. Umar Sise again. Umar Sise again. Nyamina West constituency is also seeking re-election. We have Modu Bob. Modu Bob is also seeking election for Lower Nyame constituency. And of course, Ablai E. Jallo also Combo South constituency. Ablai F. Jallo rather Combo South constituency. And then we have Alaji Fall, All Yundum constituency. And then Mamadou Dem is contesting in Jara East constituency. Mamadou Dem is, I know you must know about him, a former colleague in the media. Absolutely. And he served at the TRRC in the communication department. Mamadou Dem is contesting in the Jara East constituency.
I would love to see more journalists contesting this year. I think during the last elections we had Honorable Mali Sise, who of course who was very much active in the field. With the exception of Honorable Usman Silla, who of course also has a media background. I think we've only had Honorable Madi Sise, but I really would love to see more journalists.
More of them, right. But I mean, let's look at the participation of young people in this whole process.
All right.
I understand Don Williams is also live from Kerewan. Don, good afternoon. I mean, what is happening today in Kerewan?
Yes, good afternoon, Aliu. Yes, right here in Kerewan at the regional IC office. We are here witnessing the nomination process that is going on. And right now, we have Babukar Chun of GDC from Jokadu, who has just arrived and is right now presenting his nomination paper.
Babukar Chun?
Babukar Chun?
Yes, of GDC.
From where?
Yes, GDC.
Jokadu?
GDC.
Which constituency?
From Jokadu.
Jokadu constituency.
Yes, from Jokadu constituency. So now presenting its documents in front of the assistant returning officer.
So basically, I don't know whether is there anything you know about this Babukar Chun?
So far, I don't know anything yet, until when he completes his nomination, then I will have word with him. Because right now, it's difficult to talk to him right now.
Yeah, I know JDC used to have a very strong base in the Jokadi constituency. Yes. Currently, give us a picture of what is exactly happening there. How is the environment there
okay,
at the
right
office?
Now here, as we are, the place is very calm. The supporters of the Babukar Chun, there are not many. Only those that are there, most of them that are to be the witnesses or who have nominated him. They are right here with him. About very few of them. There is no noise, no drumming, nothing of the sort. But the atmosphere is very calm. Very calm. Nothing alarming at all. Everybody is relaxed.
Oh, thank you
in
very
the
much.
IC office and outside the IC office.
Thank you very much, Don Williams, our correspondent there from Notbank region, Kerewan, giving us the latest update there. Come, Badingole Aliamoy, Walemu Don Williams, Alemu Mola. Kebatrati membe Notbank region abe best infara fenyere bari nyintemento abe Kerewan comme ya fanya nyintemento ikahmi Babukar Chun wala furanda jana ici la bongo membe Kerewan pour kala kaito futandi Babukar Chun abe contest kan on the GDC ticket pour Jokadu constituency musidɗa won wonmen ata QTV comme Don Williams on ɗo joni o witede Babukar Chun ko kanko hefti toto IEC office wono toto Kerewan pour o ada kaytaji makko de pour o wadrade pour wonde député on the GDC pour jokade constituency. Yes, so
I like Don's description and his choice of words. I mean, nothing alarming.
Exactly.
Everybody and everywhere is calm, both inside and outside. I mean, perfect description. I think we had similar words from Ajibintu earlier.
Exactly, yeah.
And if anything, it shows the peaceful nature. I mean, in which, I mean, we are known to be very peaceful. Yeah. I mean, and I think it's really showing in our electoral process as well. From the presidential elections down to the parliament elections, the nomination process so far, we've not had any major hitches. It's been going fine, and I think it's something we should all be proud of. If anything, it shows how our democracy is evolving as well. But you did earlier ask me about the participation of young people in this year's elections. I think we're seeing more young people going into politics this time around. I remember when Not Too Young was launched during the last electoral cycle. But it seems, you know, young people are more open to the idea, you know, of contesting or seeking positions, I mean, political positions, you know, than before, which for me is a good thing. At least, you know, when you have young people in parliament, I mean, they would also be able to advocate for anything relating to young people, or even when it comes to coming up with, you know, laws and you know, or even enact good laws that would, I mean, serve to address challenges that young people are facing in this country. So for me, it's a good thing, really.
Wow, nañ ko jéem a waxtaan tuuti rek soo xoolee si wàllu jigéen ak ndaw yi dafa mel ni ñu ngi gis moo ndaw ñu ngi génn this time pour mun a contest comme démb rek ñu doon gis like for example GDC mun naa ne ñu tànn yëpp ay ndaw lañ ñu ngi gis tam comme right now kii lim Ibrahima Yel li ma si Essa Jamanka GDC fale si ñaamina donc mu to nekk na ndaw la doo jàngat si lii gis ne moo ndaw ñu ngi génn pour dugg si politique.
Aliou, man su ma gisee ndaw ñi ñuy sàkku place pour nekkal fa askan bi pour liggéeyal askan bi daf ma dee dama si dee kontaan trop because bëri na ci jafe-jafe yoo xamante ne ndaw ñi ñu ngi koo jànkuwanteel ñoom ñoo ko mën a yeneen ñoo ko mën a saafaral seen bopp kon su fekkee am nañ ndaw yi ci néegi député yi loolu foog naa dina dimbale ndaw ñi Gambia pour lépp loo xamante ne moo di ay jafe-jafe yi ñoo jànkuwanteel jigéen ñi nag élection bi passé bëri wuñu woon ci néegi député yi foog naa am na ñaar xaw ma ñetta yoo xam ne sax njiiti réew mi moo leen fa tegoon kon dafa mel ni ñi nga xamante ne dañ leen sànni loon karta ñooñu daanaka foog naa ñoom ñetta rek la woon te loolu foog naa lu ñu war a gëstuwaat la lu ñu war a bàyyi xel ndax soo xoolee réew mi jigéen ñi ñëw ëppa kon man dinaa bëgg a gis jigéen ñi gën a bëri ci biir kër gi.
Well, viewers, you're still watching QTV and we're broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue, just right behind the Kiosan Mill building. My name is Aliou Cisse and I'm here with my colleague Ansumana Esonyasi, bringing you the live coverage of the nomination as we prepare to go to the polls again to vote for the next legislature of this country. But we'll go with a short video of yesterday's nomination and we'll be back.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I would like to thank Allah the Almighty for this great day, a memorable day in my life. I'm sure of IEC will accept my nominees because of I know what I went through, you know, to prepare myself, you know, before submitting my documents.
Why do you think that you are the right candidate for your constituency?
Yes, I think I am the right candidate simply because of in Bundunkakunda, we have been facing so many challenges in my area for more than 57 years without any proper solution. So, and then I feel like I am the right candidate to solve those inadequate problems I'm facing or we are facing in Bundunkakunda.
Just be specific when you say problems. What are these problems?
Number one problem is inadequate water supply. As you can see in Bundung, some areas in Bundung, before you get water, you have to spend the whole night, you know, trying to fetch water. Yes. Lack of inadequate electricity also is along the pipeline. And then I believe if I am elected, you know, I can raise those voices at the National Assembly to find out more solutions, how to tackle those problems in my area.
Well, viewers, that's Famara Mambure. She is candidate for the Bundukakunda constituency. They are speaking to the press yesterday, shortly after presenting his nomination papers to the officials of the Independent Electoral Commission at the IEC regional office in KM. Nsumana, that's Famara Mambure for you, one of the 11 candidates put up by the CA to contest in the upcoming election. He raised quite some important issues that he said is affecting his people. The issue of water.
I have to say I like his level of confidence, really. The message is very clear. Water is a necessity. Water is life. And you know, in this day and age, you know, for a constituency like Bundukakunda, which is very much central, you know, as far as the KMC is concerned, you know, I think for me, and that is your constituency.
By the way, that's where I live.
That's where you live. I think it's important, really, to have people from within the constituency.
And that's where Mariam also lives.
And in fact, my sister lives in Bundung,
so
she's married. So, yes, you know, I think for me, the message is very clear, and it's good to have people from within the constituency, you know, take it upon themselves to ensure that you go to the National Assembly to raise the voices of the people of Bundung to say, you know what, these are the challenges we're faced with, and we want government to help address these challenges. That is one of the main functions of the Assembly, of course, of National Assembly members as well. So I think it's important, and I wish we would get to hear the same message from all the other aspiring candidates as well, because you have to know why you're going to Parliament. Exactly. It's not just about enacting laws, but also, I mean, being a voice for your people in Parliament, because that is where issues of national development are discussed, that is where the budget is discussed, and that is where the budget is approved. So it's for me,
very important.
You know, it's for me the very right place to lodge your complaints and seek solutions to whatever challenges you are faced with. So yes, I mean,
yeah, but you're talking about, I mean, the importance of this of the Parliament. But we have seen in the past where people have complained that most of the people, once they are voted into office, that's the end of it. They hardly go back to their constituents to know what their challenges are.
Just yesterday, I was talking to someone.
Some of them, they're going to yesterday, I was talking to someone.
I'm not going to have the same complaint. Wow. You know, this is about representation. You are there for the people. When you want people's votes, you go around the entire constituency. I mean, seeking people's votes. But once you are voted into office, they don't see you again. The next time they see you is in the next 5 years when you're seeking re-election. And this, for me, I think is unfortunate, because you are there to serve as their voice, you are there to serve as their eyes and ears. So what is expected of all the National Assembly members, I mean, look, you cannot talk about my problems if you don't know my problems. You cannot talk about my problems if you're not living my problems. So I think that, for me, is unfortunate. We still have that problem. You have National Assembly members who, once elected into office, they don't go back to their constituencies again. Like you said, it's rather unfortunate. It's rather unfortunate. Because so gisee ñu la sanel carte pour nga togal len ci néegi député moy pour nga mun fa nekk lépp loo xam ne ñoom ñu ngi koo joytu tey ci soxla ak luñ soxla ci wàllum développement yow yaa leen koo mën a eggee foofu nga xam ne fa la ñoo joytoo problème yi réew mi yëpp. kon su fekkee ne yow sanel nañ la yàlla wursegal la nga am ndam nga toog foofu doo delluwaat ci nit ñi man mënuloo jooy suma problème su dee xamuloo suma problème so foog nga dellu sa nit ñi dee waxtaan ak ñoom di diisoo ak ñoom because xam naa ne sometimes balaa ñu dee am di session su gars yi am sa National Assembly bi yow daf la war pour nga dellu sa nit ñi laaj leen lan mooy seen gis-gis what do they make of whatever bill that is brought to Parliament and then ñoom luñ laa wax yow loolu ngaa yóbbu because ñoom nga fa toogal bon nga nekk député ñu sànni la carte nga toog yow ba sa temps bi jeex doo musa dem sa nit ñi wala ngay romb di ekkati sa weer liif sax doo ko maye boobu dafa ñaaw Aliou dafa doy waar.
Thank you very much, Asmara Esojasi. It's always a pleasure to be on the same platform with you. Well, because like I said earlier on, we knew on Saturday APRC also did their nomination. We have Sunkare Baji for the prefect, who is now stepping down, and he's being replaced by one Ibu Kali. We have Kadi Kamara, APRC for the Bondali constituency. Musa Amul Nyasi for the Councillor constituency. Alaji Sankun Jamme for the Jaral constituency, and Mamadou Kamara of Fonyi Bintang constituency. We have Suleiman Jame of Bundukakunda constituency, who is currently the councillor of Bundung ward, and also Serif Sar also contesting on the APRC for Joswan constituency. We'll go with a short video of their interviews and we'll be back soon.
And we've marked, based on the checklist, all the documents that we've submitted. event, we have to reference this as the list we're going to use to confirm that you brought this and we received. At this point, we're going to issue with a receipt of nomination, not an acceptance. It's a whole process. After the scrutiny and then the checking of your nominees to make sure that you have 300 valid. Once we have completed that and there is no objection to your candidature, then we will issue you with an acceptance. Okay. So as soon as we're ready here, your documents will be out on the table. Right now, it will be out on the table for anyone to come and look at them. And if they have any objection, then they will raise it and I will notify you. And then you will have to come and defend or clear any doubts that there are. Okay? So congratulations and I wish you all the best.
Good afternoon. Can you just confirm to us if you have successfully submitted all your papers required by the Independent Electoral Commission?
Yes, I have already successfully fulfilled all the required documents that were asked by the IEC.
Now tell us, why are you seeking re-election for the seat of Fonyi Bondale?
I'm seeking re-election for the seat of Fonyi Bondale because I want the people of Fonyi Bondale to reconcile, and also we have started some development in our area and I want to complete those development in Fonyi Bondale constituency.
Why do you want them to reconcile? What do you mean by you want them to reconcile? What is the problem?
Because we have this political, some are in the no to coalition, some are in the yes to coalition, and we are all one Gambia, one family, and one nation. So we have that small difference between the people of Fonyi Bondale, and as far as I am concerned, I want all of us to reconcile and be as one family.
You said some development projects that you want to complete. Can you be specific?
We have. I have a proposal that I want to construct and help us at one of my villages. So I don't want to reveal that village. So and I was promised that before the end of this March, they are going to lay the first foundation of that help post. So I want to complete that project.
Well, because that's Kadi Kamara of Fonyi Bondale constituency. They are speaking to the press shortly after presenting her nomination papers to the officials of the IEC at the IEC regional office in West Coast Region, Brikama to be specific. Well, Kadi Kamara is one of those MPs who is seeking re-election. In the last election in 2017, she won her constituency by 1,226 votes against Yero S. Jallo of GDC who got 390 votes, and Usman Marcos Nyasi, UDP, got 828 votes. And here, as you have heard from Kadi Kamara, she is seeking the election because, according to her, she wants to reconcile the people of her constituency and also see how best she will be able to complete some of the projects that she has initiated, such as a health center, as she puts it, in her constituency. And Sumana, Kadi Kamara Biade, one of the few women so far that we have confirmed have really expressed interest of returning to the National Assembly.
Hello, my mother is from Fonyi Bondale.
Oh,
so,
you see.
so this one, but I think, Kadi, like I said earlier, is one of 3 women who were elected, during the last National Assembly elections, and yes, he is seeking re-election. I think the message for me is important as well, to reconcile the people of Fonyi who, in all honesty, have been really divided by politics. And she did mention the no to alliance, and yes for alliance, camps. And I think this is important because you look at her party, I think this division has really weakened the party, and it's only good that they come together.
Yeah, I was coming to that question, looking at the issue in Fonyi as we speak. We have the legally recognized body, that is the APRC led by Fabra Jata, and you also have the North Alliance movement, who are also putting up candidates in the same constituencies where, hands down, in 2017 was a no-go area for any other party other than the APRC. Yeah. And now it seems that the APRC itself is somehow divided. Will this in any way, in your opinion, affect the candidates put up by the legally recognized body, that's the APRC led by Fabata Monjang?
You know, Ali, in all honesty, I think you look at the division within the party, and this is only going to further divide the party, and it's also going to weaken, I mean, their grip in that constituency. Of course, we know that, you know, for the past 2 decades, Fonyi has been a no-go area for any other party. You know, if you're not APRC, I mean, forget it. But now, with what we've seen from last year, and even, you know, the division within the party as well, I think
it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting,
very interesting,
and we may you know, even have situations where both camps would end up losing, where they would have naturally, where one would expect them to naturally win. And I think for me, it's good that we have people like her sending this message across that we have to reconcile as a people and as a party. It's important.
It's going to be interesting because if you go back to records and you look at the last presidential election, we saw GDC alliance with APRC, that did not alliance winning in Fonyi councillor.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be very interesting. Mbadi ngol melbe QTV jong ale me menjenu je wala mu kadi kamarati ate mu député to intermento Fonyi Bondal ala to Cameroon National Assembly sat sibiti no atara Brikam pour kala kaytulu futandi IC la molla comme a Fonya men ala diamo do kabring ani kebar kala be diamo kam ako ala to Cameroon National Assembly pour kaji asimul be kelinti wala mu Fonyi Fonyi dingoti especially Fonyi Bondal pour ke be kelinti andum fanan ay projet mel commencer ala pour ke laban comme ça ala to le plan lo ala constituency wala mu Fonyi Bondal constituency musse tam wor me da TV ha joni on mo jebo mi da woni kadi camara o temelo ko de ko woni député Fonyi Bondal constituency o homo tawa himbe ngada he para marutade National Assembly pour be wona député e dubi jewi arodi so hala mako dal o holli wonna kanko homo fala rutade National Assembly pour o wada Fonyi ay fo gotum especially Fonyi Bondal way kadi pour o dana l'hôpital to Fonyi Bondal constituency.
Wow.
So silinga jotagom si kadi camara wana lu bari.
Wow.
Jema indi watu wa Fonyi yep nek bena Fonyi Bondal wana tam ene pour meuna gis ne projet ñam commencé nako mu agale ko lu melni sampal l'hôpital ci Fonyi Bondal constituency te so hole in 2017 winning an election with a quite wide margin of over 1,000 votes.
Waaw Aliou comme li ma waxoon rek ci angale ci gannaaw man suma yaay waa Fonyi Bondal la suma ay nijaay ak fa suma ay cousins ñu
waaw war nga nuyu gaay ci Jola kon waxal gaay ci Jola ki lim do wax non
waaw Bondal ni ko ay Jola rek fa nekk di oto ñoom de safu tout ke Bondal bu ko ke Bondal tout ñoom de safu but
wal gaay tell them wal gaay lan la wax ci angale après ci Jola waaw ko gaay
Aliou Wild Talk but on a serious note kadi yàlla dafa def mu nekk kenn si ñetti jigéen yi nga xamante ne ñooñu la gaay tànnoon ñu nekkoon ci néegi député yi
ci sànni carte
bi nga xamante ne moo passé léegi nag dellu si waat na di ñaan waa Bondali Fonyi Bondali constituency pour ñu sànni laat ko nga xamante ne dina delluwaat ci néegi député yi mu ne ñaari yëf moo tax muy taxawaat benn dafa bëgg a jekkali liggéey bi nga xamante ne la door te wax na ne am na ñi mu waxtaanal ba juboo ak ñoom ñoo xam ne dañ fas yéene pour dimbale waa Fonyi Bondali constituency sampal leen lopitaan te foog naa wér-gu-yaram lu am solo la lopitaan war nañ koo am si constituency yëpp communauté bu nekk war na ko mën a am because xam nañ ne dafa mel ni nit ki moom doomi aadama soo amul wér-gu-yaram dafa mel ni amuloo dara because soo déggee yaa ngi liggéey wala yaa ngi yëngu ci yenn yi fekk da nga wér ñaaral bi wax na lu am solo Aliou mooy reconcile Fonyi rawatina Fonyi Bondali nit ñi yëpp ñu dellu nekkaat benn wax na ci affaire yi APRC ñi ànd ak alliance bi ak ñu àndul ak alliance bi te bëgg na ñëpp ñu nekk benn te foog naa loolu lu am solo la waaw so ba pare tamit Aliou da ngaa gis ne laajoon nga ma ci gannaaw affaire yi APRC ni mu xaajaloo léegi foog naa baax na ñu dégg si ñu mel ne kat yi taxaw ne bëgg naa parti yam ñëpp ñu nekkaat benn ak gaayam yi foog naa loolu am na solo.
Yes, viewers, you're still watching QTV and we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. I am Aliou Cisse with my colleague Ansumana Esonyasi. Like I said, we are bringing you a live broadcast of the ongoing nomination ahead of the parliamentary election on April 9th this year. currently political parties and independent candidates who are aspiring. We can now go with a video from Brikama, and they'll be back soon.
Enough documents, I'm just going to reject you outright. And
by the way, these are live images from Brikama now.
Because there are a lot of gaps there. So is the witness going to sign here?
Yeah, the witness going to sign there, but what is...
Signature of witness, date, signature of witness here, and date here. Yeah. The date is today 7? It doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter, yeah.
Well, viewers, those are live images we're bringing you from the nominations in Brikama. Like I said, I mean, today the Gambia Democratic Congress Party is scheduled, and then their candidates have started arriving at the different regional IEC offices to present their nomination papers as required by law for them to be able to contest in the upcoming parliamentary election. Quite important of government. That's where laws are made, and then whoever is going to represent his or her constituency must be prepared to deliver to the expectation of their people. And Sumara, is there any likelihood that we might also have more independent candidates coming up?
Of course, Aliu. I mean, from some of the people I have seen express interest in contesting these elections, it's very clear that we're going to have more independent candidates, because we've had situations where you have people who wanted to contest through certain political parties. They were not selected by the regional committees, and now they are still going ahead to contest, as independent candidates. So we're going to have more. I really foresee that we would have more independent candidates this time than in the previous elections.
You talk about perhaps somebody is out there who is the choice of the people, but it's not perhaps the choice of the committee, the selection committee. What do you think the committees to look out for if they are to make that right choice to ensure that they pick the choice of the people?
Yeah, I think for committees that are responsible for selecting candidates or aspirants for parties, I think they should be very mindful with their selection process, and so that whoever is selected is the people's choice. Because remember, at the end of the day, it is the people that are going to vote for these aspirants. So if you select a candidate who the people do not want, or they think there is someone out there who is more competent, and then you overlook the individual for a candidate of your choice, that is the committee and not the people, then it's a problem, because the possibility of you winning would be very, very slim. So I mean, we've seen some people taking to social media to say, I am not voting, and these are people who are known to be members of certain political parties. And I think that, for me, should be a wake-up call for committees that are responsible for selecting candidates.
And now let's look at JDC. I'm sure they are putting up a quite good number of aspiring candidates. I mean, in the last election they had 5, if I'm right, and along the line we've seen some of their MPs cross-carpeting to the president. I mean, will this in any way affect GDC's chance of perhaps getting 5 or more candidates this time around? Do you see GDC really making it in this upcoming parliamentary election?
Of course, Aliu. I mean, it's very, very possible. I think for me, even the independent candidates, I think we're going to have to join.
Exactly. Let's now go to Kanifing, the IEC regional office in Kanifing. Like I said, I mean, we are bringing you live coverage, and our correspondent Ajibintu Drame is there at the IEC regional office. I mean, for the live images. These are live images you are seeing coming from the IEC regional office. Yes, so I mean, like I said, those are images you're saying are coming live from the IEC regional office here in Kanifing. Yes, so exactly. So
yes,
let's now see whether we'll be able to connect with our crew in Brikama, where our colleague Modu Gajaga is there for us.
The problem is now, what I'm going to do is I will just continue, and then I will sign, and then you sign. Then you will know which ones to work on. Okay? So income tax clearance.
Income tax clearance.
Okay. Where are you working? Are you a public servant? Okay. Code on election campaign ethics. You have that one. Yeah, you should sign that. No, code on election campaign ethics. This time.
That one, yes. Okay.
Okay. This is signed. Okay. So I'll give you another one. Now what you do is we will keep this. So when you come, we will give you another one to sign. We'll keep this. Letter of sponsorship from the party.
Okay, it's not question.
Okay. Sample of symbol and sample of photo. You have them. No, just give us one.
Sample.
Just sample.
That is the symbol. Photo. Okay.
Yes, just the shoulder.
Sample.
Well, this sample. So what we're going to do is, where are those ones? The other ones?
Everybody has put it in.
No, where is his file?
This file is.
Yeah, because what we're going to do is we will just put everything. We will return all these things to him. So when he's coming, he's giving. Yes.
Let's return the packet.
You have your candidate itinerary, campaign itinerary. You don't. If you don't bring it, okay.
You work on it.
Okay. Now what we're going to do? We will give you back all this because what we don't want is this is what we submitted. I don't want to keep editing. So I'll return everything to you. But what you have to work on, your signatures, these ones, supporters. So please, if you say 300, even if you have 1,000,
bring it.
Because already somebody came for Sedekon Harvest, already. So you're going to, whatever you have is going to be checked against what, okay? So bring, when they say 300, bring as much as possible.
That is why I was asking whether he got extra ones to replace those on site.
Okay, just do that. And then you should also sponsorship letter because you are not an independent candidate. So bring it, okay? And then, okay, itinerary, that one, you make sure you bring it because on the 14th, we'll begin the campaign reconciliation. Okay?
No, he sign, you sign, then we return him.
Don't know.
Problem. Feels mutual.
This is the declaration.
Okay, that's the
declaration. Sworn as a income tax. Letter. So these are the documents that you've submitted. So you will take, no rejection.
Yes, like you said, they are one of the biggest parties. But if we are to judge by their performance in the presidential election, one might say, "Oh, do you think GDC really stand a chance of making it in the parliamentary election?" But like you said, parliamentary election is completely different from the presidential election because people are so attached. So if you choose, for example, somebody who people don't really appreciate, they don't give a heck. They vote for the one they believe in.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
you know, it's rather unfortunate, Alo. During the last National Assembly elections, rather, we did not have, many instances where you have constituents complaining about, some of these aspirants that, or openly showing their dissatisfaction with some of the aspirants that have been selected by their parties. Unfortunately, this time around, in almost all the parties, across all constituencies, you have people complaining or openly showing their dissatisfaction with some of the candidates that have been put up by either their parties or their communities. And I think for me, this should be a wake-up call for whoever is responsible for selecting aspirants, for the various constituencies we have in the country, because National Assembly really is very important. It is that arm of government that oversees the executive. And this is where the budget is discussed, this is where the budget is approved. And we know that we rely on the budget for our development needs. So it's important that whatever candidate is being selected is one that people want to see in parliament, and is someone who the people would be ready to vote for. Because what is the essence of selecting a candidate who people are openly showing you their dissatisfaction, saying we don't want this candidate? And then you have a problem, because it is the people that are going to vote for the candidate. So if they are not okay with that candidate, I think it's, as parties, you should, be able to have a look at that again, because otherwise what it does is it weakens your party. Because the more candidates, the more you lose, then it becomes a problem. I am not actually foreseeing I'm not foreseeing a one-party dominated house. Yeah. I don't think that would happen again, given that all these other parties are putting up candidates. Parties like CA putting up 11 candidates. And the CA is a new party, to be honest, compared to other parties. Parties like the Gambia for All putting up candidates. If anything, for me, I think it's good for our democracy. And like I said, I don't want to see a one-party dominated house. We want to have, all these other candidates, at least from the various parties, winning here and there. So we have a very balanced house, wherein when it comes to, because you have situations where maybe you would have certain bills come to parliament, and then they will not be ratified because, maybe one party feels threatened or the other is not happy with, Mr. ABC, and then it's like the national interest is overlooked in most cases. And for me, I think it should be more about national interest than party or even individual interest. So it's good that we don't have a one-party dominated house.
Okay, in as much as we don't want to have a parliament dominated by one political party, I did pose this question to my colleague Yaya Jawa yesterday about how important should this parliamentary election be to the president, the executive and the legislature, because they work together.
Absolutely.
If you have a parliament that is dominated by people who oppose the system, then there's a conflict.
Yeah, that too is a problem. That too is a problem. You're spot on. That too is a problem. But again, like I said, whoever is going to parliament, the national interest should be.
Let's now go to KMC with those live images. My colleague Ajibito Dram is there.
They rejected me totally. I'm just given a chance to produce some documents.
I brought a lot of developments.
Hello, this is the GDC candidate.
Yeah.
Speaking there to our colleagues.
That's one of the GDC candidates there speaking to the press after submitting his document study officials of the independent.
I'm not the one who should produce that one. It was should have been come from the admin secretary. There is a little bit delayance. That's why I did not get that one. But for the nomination of the 300 voters cards, there is a little bit mistake of people giving out their voters cards registered and they did not sign or make any thumbprint. So we have to go back to those people to make sure they sign or thumbprint. That is the reason why we are not we are given a chance to come back again.
You are to provide over almost 300 signatures. How many is left for you now that is not did not sign against their own name?
Well, we did not calculate all total, how much it is, because there is the question that he raised, whether we were in a haste or not, might be, you know, a little bit true in that side, because when we got the papers, we did not have the chance to, you know, go over it all together again. So this is why there are some areas that are not signed, but we did not know exactly how much. But yet still, when we go home, we will check again and then go back to the people so that they sign those areas.
Do you think you will be nominated?
Obviously, dañ ko waroon a check yëpp balaa ñu doon ñëw fii waaye liggéey bi nu mu dee demee la. In 2017, nominated na, there was also a mistake and I was given a chance to go back and come again. So doomi aadama moo mel noonu liggéey léegi daf dee jafe sometimes nga liggéey nga am ay mistake waaye nag doo blame kenn dañuy xam ne noonu la war a demee. Man moom comme lu ñu dee wax rek dañuy faral di wax ne man dara du ma dee dal benn yoon daf ma dee dal benn yoon ñaari laat. Wow.
So, do you believe that?
Obviously, I will make it, because what is left to be done is just a little.
Okay, you said you were once asked to go back, and then this time again you are asked to go back again.
Yes.
What was the outcome of the 2016 journey here?
Yeah, it was 2017. I was asked to go back, given a chance to come back again in the latter date, and I came back again and I submit everything was intact. Just like today, it was just a little mistake, as I told you, and I was given a chance to go and rectify that. When I rectified, I'll come back again. I was nominated.
Were you able to contest in that election?
Obviously, I contested 2017.
Okay, now that you are contesting for the second time in the same constituency, how optimistic are you that you're going to win this time around?
I have high hopes that I am going to win this time around. In 2017, I get into politics just few weeks before nomination, because it was the people of GDC in Serekunda West area who have high hopes in me, came and then approached me for me to stand as a candidate in the Serekunda West constituency. At that time, I was not into politics that much. But since 2017 to date, I have been into politics. I have engaged the neighborhood. I have good relationship with the people. And even at party level, I am the deputy director of polling, the polling agent committee. So I have contributed a lot in terms of politics, and I know I'm capable, and I know the people of Serekunda West will have, the belief to give me a chance to be their parliament member in these 2022 elections.
Aside from your personal relationship with the people in your constituency, could you please tell us what you have done for your community that led the people to form a delegation to come and approach you to represent them at the parliament?
Yeah, I live in Bakote. The area that I live, Serekunda West, is a wide area. It has 5 wards, but I'm living in Bakote. The people I'm living with in Bakote, in my area, have known and have seen the kind of contributions that I have done in terms of development. Though I did not win the 2017 elections, but I have participated in terms of social development. Like I have contributed in the works of roads, and then the market area with the women, try to help them pull out the rubbish in the market, and a lot of things that I cannot mention today. But I also have my agenda that I wish to work with when I'm elected as MP of Serekunda West, and I will unveil that when I am nominated. So the people will hear and they will see who is the right candidate to be voted in 2022.
How many votes did you get in the 2017 election, and this time around what are you expecting?
Well, I cannot tell you exactly how many votes I get in the 2017, but I can tell you this time around I'm going to win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's Modu Jen of the GDC party were speaking to the press shortly after presenting his nomination papers to the officials of the Independent Electoral Commission Regional Office in KM. Like he said, Modi Jane said he contested in the 2017 election, but couldn't win, and he is optimistic that he is going to win this time around. Ansumana, you have heard from Modi Jane. He sounds quite optimistic that he's going to win.
Contesting again for the second time.
Serekunda West. It's going to be another battleground, right?
I think one
looking at the candidates coming up in Serekunda West.
It's going to be a fierce battle, really. Yeah. It's one of those constituencies where I think, you're going to have a very tough battle between the different political parties. And even we're seeing some very strong independent candidates as well within the constituency. So for me, I think Serekunda West, Bundunga Kunda, and even in the Nyaminas as well, it's going to be very interesting, really.
Because if you look at it now, Serekunda West, you have Modi Jane coming in JDC, you have Nene Freda Gomez, CA, UDP will put up a candidate, NPP will put up a candidate.
I think Serekunda, like I said, Bundunga Kunda and the Nyaminas, for me, these are going to be battlegrounds. And I'm foreseeing a very, very, interesting battle between these parties in those constituencies. However, he said something very important, that when he was contesting in 2017, he had little political experience. But over the years, he's gathered so much political experience. He's also worked on his relationship with the people, and he thinks he understands the issues that his constituency is dealing with in terms of development needs and all of that better now than before. So he's in a better position. I think he's prepared as well.
Bari ngol melo QTV jibe kan alenya memenu je wala modu jenti modu gin belo kan GDC Serekunda West constituency atlebe diam kan e kebata le kabere apura IC la office ba me be kanifin pour kala kayto lu futandi kala la fotande ko ala takalo pour que député woti onda GDC ticket musid on mon yida woni modu jen fala dara GDC onda GDC ticket pour Serekunda West constituency o kanko wono haldu on yetto kebaru yi o ko wadi dalila o hamidarade pour o wona député pour Serekunda West constituency. Let's still stick with Serekunda West constituency.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether UDP will still put up Yakumba Jaite. At some point we were hearing that it is my decision, it is Yakumba Jaite. But in the event you have Yakumba Jaite nominated by the party, it's going to be, like you said, a fierce battle. You have Nene Freda Gomez, a woman, Yakumba Jaite, a woman, and you have Jen. Man.
Aliu Serekunda West, even if the UDP does not put up Yakumba, whichever candidate happens to be nominated by the party, I want to believe it's going to be a fierce battle between the UDP, between CA, and even GDC as well, because it's one of those very huge constituencies that, of course, it's a political powerhouse as well, as far as the KMC is concerned. Serekunda West, this for me, I think is where the battle is going to be for these National Assembly elections. Within the KMC, we know that, they are also very strong candidates. Nene, of course, has been in politics actively the past 3-4 years. And we also know how to be a very strong activist as well. So to have people like Nene, people like Ida Madi or Yakumba, who have experience in parliament already, who've been tested and proved themselves, Modu Jane as well, who is a fighter, obviously, having lost the previous elections. Here he's back again. And he said he's even more prepared now than he was 5 years ago. So I think this is going to be a very fierce battle.
Fierce battle. By the way, we have 44,378 registered voters in Serekunda West constituency.
Wow. It's a huge constituency.
44,387 registered voters for Serekunda West constituency compared to yes, exactly. That is the number of registered voters in Serekunda West constituency.
So far, only 2 have been nominated.
Yes.
That is Jane and Nene Freda Gomez.
Nene Freda Gomez.
And even for Jane, he's asked to go back and work on his nomination forms. Of course, you have everything in place, but except for the signatures, which they want him to have fixed.
Okay, now our colleague Ajimito Drame is live from the Kanifing Municipality Regional Office IEC. Ajimito, I mean you were there, and then you have heard from Modu Jane. What exactly did he say?
Yes, Modi Jane, an aspirant for Serekunda West constituency, came with his wife and some few other delegates. Though he came in late for 19 minutes late before the after the slated time, which is 12 p.m. So so he has submitted his documents, but there are few documents that are lacking. That is the signatory documents. He just submitted 269. So he's been rejected and given time to come back later before the deadline, which is 12th and 18th of March this month, to submit the full documents, signatory documents and itinerary sponsorship, and also sealed declaration of assets. The declaration of assets document has not been sealed, but it is a minor issue. The IEC stated is a minor issue, though it's been signed, but it's a minor issue that he should just get a seal to complete his documents so that it could be submitted. He just left in now. As you can hear the crowd, they are clamoring behind me there. That's what transpired.
He's contesting again. We know that he did contest it in 2017.
Ali, can you please come again? I can't hear you.
Yeah, exactly. I was just asking, why is he contesting again? We know that in 2017 he contested and lost. Why is he coming back again?
So it appears Ajipinto
is struggling to hear what I'm saying. But basically, I was just trying to ask. I mean, why is Jane coming back after he had lost in the 2017 parliamentary election? I mean, I know in KM you have a quite good number of candidates put up by the GDC, the likes of MC Cham, just one constituency. Will also be at the regional IEC office to contest, and then across the region also we have so many other candidates. I mean, like the Esa Jamanka, Nyamina Dangu constituency, and we earlier discussed about Momodu Dam, who is also contesting for the GDC in Jara East constituency. Jara is also going to be a quite fierce battle, because I know the NPP is putting up a candidate, the GDC has a candidate there, UDP will put up another candidate. I'm not sure whether, CA also has a candidate in Jara East in the name of Yankuba Sane, a young person who is also put up. He actually filed his nomination papers yesterday at the IEC regional office in Mansa Konko. So basically, Ansumana, we're still expecting about over 100,
I mean, I'm foreseeing more candidates this time around than in the previous elections. Of course, it's going to be a very interesting campaign. Like I said, I am foreseeing more women. I'm foreseeing more young people, and even more independent candidates as well.
I mean, judging by the fifth legislature, what has transpired in between 2017 to this year, are you worried about the upcoming legislature? Whether they will live up to expectation, whether they will deliver, as we have seen in this fifth legislature?
Well, of course.
Now, some of them, the likes of Khalifa, is not coming back.
Yeah.
Even though we know CDA has expressed interest that he wants to come back.
Yeah, I think for me, there would be some changes, because there are faces we would not be seeing in Parliament again. Yeah. Some would lose, some would get re-elected, some may, have already. Like in Fonyi, Sunkaru, Honorable Sunkaru Baji saying, I'm not contesting again. Honorable Khalifa Saleh not contesting again. So there are faces we wouldn't be seeing in Parliament again. And some of these people have been, very, very key members of this last Parliament, whose contribution really has been acknowledged by the majority of Gambians. Will the next parliament live up to expectations? I hope they would. I really hope they would. But again, like I said earlier, I'm personally, I'm satisfied with some of the candidates, aspirants rather, that I have seen, because these are people, with quality, educated, and yes, they've at least proved themselves in whatever field they've been in before expressing interest to contest in this election. So yes, I hope they would, and I look forward to them living up to expectations. I'm confident they would.
And Aleno, you talk about not having one party dominating the parliament. Certainly, we know the NPP is leading a grand coalition, and then Gambia Action Party is one of those parties who were backing the NPP in the last election. They were meant to appear this morning, but they are not putting up any candidate. I know before the end of the program, we will try to speak to either Bachili, the party leader, or the spokesperson of the party. Are you surprised that Gambia Action Party isn't putting up any candidate?
Yes, I actually expected that they would. But if, they are not putting up a candidate, why are they not putting up a candidate? Is it because of this relationship they have with the NPP, or what exactly is it? Or is it because of resources? What could it be? Maybe they should be able to tell us. I'm sure maybe as the day progresses, we should be able to talk to Bachili or even one of his officials. But again, Aliu, I'm surprised. I haven't heard about the NRP yet. We had the Honorable Minister here, who is also the leader of the NRP party, a few weeks ago, and he did tell us here on QTV that they would be contesting as a party in these parliamentary elections. I don't know if they really
I'm sure they would. What I'm saying, I might be wrong here. Maybe perhaps where you have the NRP having some candidates, maybe the NPP might not put up candidates there. For example, Nyanaja constituency, where you have Amadou Kamara. Amadou Kamara is NRP, and I understand he is also seeking re-election. In the case of Alaji Mo Upper Salum, Alaji Mo is NRP. But considering the relationship between the NRP and NPP,
and remember,
are you foreseeing them all fighting in the same constituency for one seat?
Remember, the NPP has also expressed interest to contest, majority of these constituencies. 40 out of what, 53?
Yeah.
I mean.
So maybe the remaining 13 is where you might perhaps have the NRP seats.
So I would really, love to see how this would pan out, especially for, between the NRP and the NPP as well, and even GAP. Why are they not putting up a candidate? I would also like to know, apart from Mo and the other one you mentioned, Amadou Kamara, if the NRP would also put up candidates in other areas, and even Honorable Samba Jallo.
He's currently the minority leader.
Yeah, so we would, he's been minority leader for a very long time. He's very, very experienced in parliament as well. But, I would love to see if the NRP, is going to put up candidates in most of these constituencies as well. And if not, of course, we would dig in to find out why.
Yeah, because we have seen the ANRD, that's Lami Bojang's party, that's the Alliance for Reorientation and National Development, is not putting up candidate. We spoke with him yesterday live here on QTV, and he said, they are still going by the alliance with the NPP. They are back in the NPP.
Well, if you have...
So maybe, perhaps even the party like NCP, Majanko's party.
Yeah.
Who knows? Your friend, perhaps.
Yes, Honorable Majanko is my good friend. Aliu, for me, what I'm finding interesting and what I'm really interested in is if you have all these other parties who are also part of the alliance with the NPP, not putting up candidates, but the NRP putting up candidates, and they are part of it. In fact, they're key members of that alliance. I'm interested in knowing why and in which constituencies would they be putting up candidates. I hope we're able to talk to either Honorable Ahmad Ba or someone from within the party to find out why.
Could that also be a tactic?
Well,
perhaps having where you have the NRP dominate. Okay, let's allow NRP to take care of this area, while NPP take care of this area.
Yeah, naturally, when you have such alliances, mostly that is what happens. In areas where, let's say, if this is an NRP stronghold, the NPP naturally may not be expected to put up candidates there. In the event that happens, then there's a problem. Yes.
Interesting. I say interesting. Let's see how this all pans out. I mean, many will have expected, okay, because there was a coalition in the last presidential election, there would be another coalition.
I was actually surprised. I was actually surprised when Honorable Ahmad Ba mentioned that on QTV that you know, they would be contesting as a party. I was really very surprised because, you know, for me, in my mind, what I was thinking was because they also have this relationship with the NPP, so you know, maybe they would not even be putting up candidates in most of these constituencies. But from the moment he said to me, we are contesting as a party, I said to myself, well, then this is going to be an interesting one. However, we look forward to very interesting elections. Yes.
Well, we understand MC Cham, just one constituency, has also arrived now at the IEC regional office in Kanifing. MC Cham is contesting. I mean, he's been the GDC's youth national youth president, yeah, and of the GDC party. He is now at the IEC regional office in Kanifing to submit his documents to seek endorsement from the electoral body to be able to contest under the GDC party. Just one as well, it's going to be quite interesting. And Sumana, you have MC Cham coming in for GDC, you have Sir SAR, APRC, and then I'm not sure whether Alaji Drame of UDP will also come back to seek re-election. I'm not sure yet, but Johnson also is going to be quite interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, it's good that you have people like
MC Cham expressing interest,
well, you know, expressing interest in contesting this election. So for me, he's one of those very outspoken, you know, young politicians we have in the country. Especially, I think MC from 2016 has been very active in politics, very outspoken. So it's good that we have people like him expressing interest to contest these elections. I think he's one of those candidates really who of course also has a chance.
Badingol melbe QTV je abe damento al nyalbe mila ala skinu to MC Cham dong atafana lapta kallo kake député wati Joswan constituency under GDC ticket abe tamen nin tamento atele fotata IC la officer membe Kanifing just on Kairaba Avenue Alliance Francis Mafon IC MC Cham wale fotata non je sign thing musi bam do joni o witero MC Cham ko kanko hewti toto IEC regional office won do Kanifing o ari pour o adda kaytaji makko pour o hollita yidde makko pour darade pour o wona député pour Joswan constituency ticket GDC don do joni ko MC Cham ko kanko woni do hebrede kaytaji makko toto IEC regional office mo ganda ko o wite jokole returning officer ko kanko woni hebade kaytaji MC Cham inde so ansumana fumne kani MC Cham exina mu ngi di joxe ay kayitam pour wone parent pour mëna bokk ci jongante bi
waaw Aliou MC yàlla dafa def mu nekk ndaw koo xam ne ràññee nañ ko trop ci politique tey Gambia te comme li mu wax ci anglais MC depuis atum 2016 ba tey ci politique la nekk di yëngu te ñëpp ràññee nañ koy tamit GDC mu nekk ndaw boo xam ne naam ne parti bi am na ku dee wax ci tuuri parti bi waaye dafa mel ni sax moom lañ dee gën a dégga tey soo ne GDC rek gannaaw honorable Kandeh di nga tudda ku mel ni MC ak ñoom honorable Omar Cissé kon foog naa baax na mu nekk ndaw jóg wane interest am ne bugga naa taxaw ci élection bi nga xamante ne lañ digma ci mu di élection yi nekk député yi man nag lii def ma dee ne Aliou su ma gisee ndaw yoo xam ne jóg nañ pour taxawal seen gox yi nga xam ne lañ jógee loolu li ma woon rek mooy ne gox yooyu lañ am nañ future bu baax parce que ndaw ñi ñooy nekk kilifa ëllëg jigéen ñi tamit tudd nañ fi ci gannaaw ku fi mel ni ñoom Yakumba ñoom Nena Freda Gomez ñoom Kadi Camara ak yeneen jigéen yi nga xamante ne taxaw nañ wane ñoom tamit seen bugga pour taxawal seen gox yi fanaa loolu am solo la kon MC tamit ñu ngi sentu ne moom it xam naa su paree ci nomination process bi nag mu ngi joxe ay kayitam ci jamono ji te IEC bi ki nga xamante ne moo leen fa toogal di Joe Gomez ak ñi moo liggéeyal ñu ngi gestu kayit yooyu Joseph Gomez ñu ngi Kolirada ñu ngi saytu nuñ ko waxatee kayit yooyu le kon foog naa lu am solo la pour ñu gis ndaw ñi ñuy taxaw wane seen bugga pour sàkku li nga xamante ne moo di seen nit ñi place bi nga xamante ne lañ am ci néegi député yi néegi député nag Aliou waxoon naa ko ci anglais place bërëb bu am solo la ndax fa la ñu waxtaanee lépp loo xamante ne moo ñeel askan gi ci wàllum développement xam nañ tamit ne duut ne rek dañoo gestu lii di budget bi pour xool fan la xaalis war a dugga ñan ñoo soxla lan mooy ci buntu liggéeykaay nguur waaye tamit place la foo xam ne fa la ñoo defaree luwaay ci réew mi te fa la ñoo gëstoo luwaay tamit kon baax nañu su ñoo wootee ñu wootee sànnil ñoo xamante ne seen xam-xam màcc na seen jàngal toolu na fa te tamit ñu bugg a seen ay nit lañu parce que ñu ngi ko wax fii maa yow si gannaaw am na ñoo xamante ne buñ leen sànnilee ba tey seen nit ñi ñu ne si lañ leen gëj a gis so foog naa loolu am na solo trop.
Let's now take a listen of what is happening currently at the IEC regional office in Kanifing.
Yeah, code of conduct, yes, code of conduct, yes. Sign, okay. Now, sign this one out. Stamp this. You put one there and then you give one to sponsorship letter from the party. Sample of symbol or photo. We just need one. This is sample. Okay. Itinerary? Not yet finished. So, but make sure you bring it because the campaign, we're going to do the itinerary from the 14th, huh? Okay.
Bring it before the end of the nomination so that we can do it for the reconciliation.
Wait. The
other one.
Let me put the dates.
Sign, you need to sign.
That shows the list of the documents you gave us. Give him the other. Okay, so.
This is 05, huh? 05.
Sign this other one.
Mamadi.
Hi.
Modu Ibrahim Cham. I have gone through the documents that you've submitted, and I have found them to be okay. But I cannot give you acceptance at this time because from now on to 3, your papers will be displayed. If anybody has any objections, they can come. And then the supporters that you've submitted, we will verify. So once you have the threshold of 300, we may call you today or we call you tomorrow to come and collect your acceptance. Okay? But for the meantime, this is your receipt. So I'll give you checklist. So what you have outstanding there is the company itinerary. So everything is fine. Okay? So this is, and then the code, because you signed 2, so 1 is for you and 1 is for us. And then this is the receipt of nomination. Okay? All right.
All the best.
Thank you. All the best.
Just presenting his nomination papers, like apart from returning officer Joe Colley. I mean,
your color,
the
maintain it. Huh?
I'm a GDC, but I have a bargain and support for the political parties or whatever.
No problem.
Can I get your number?
I'm just
Mr. Cham?
76.
Gambia saying that he is JDC, but he has the backing of other parties. I mean, I'm not so. Yes. Yeah, I mean, we are not so weak parties there, but then the important thing is that the IEC has received his documents and they will now put it on display for public scrutiny, and then maybe before the end of the day or tomorrow they will call him to.
So he's saying from now until 3 p.m. Anybody who his papers would be on display, and anybody who has any queries or maybe any issues here and there regarding his credentials, you can lodge your complaint with the IEC formally. So, I mean, by 3 o'clock, if there's no complaint, he said they would call him to give him his acceptance letter, which shows that he's fulfilled all the requirements except for his campaign itinerary, which of course could be done later. So, yeah, we wish him all the best of luck.
Well, that's MC Cham for you. Just earlier on, before we went to the IEC office, we were talking about the issue of the NRP and the NPP. I mean, the information we are getting is that now the NRP is going to defend all their 5 constituencies, and then NPP will back them.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you have it. I mean, for me, actually, the reason why I was very much interested in, because this is what I was thinking would happen, but because the Honorable Minister did, say to me here on QTV that they will be contesting as a party. I found that very interesting. Of course, and I did ask him to explain, but he said, no, I will not give you any details. He said, when the time comes, you will know. I guess it's clear now that they are going to contest, but of course they are defending the 5 seats that they had in the previous elections. But also, something that I find quite interesting is the fact that we went through this transition between 2012 and 2017, 2015 to be specific, when the IEC demarcated, some of these constituencies, like you remember, Combo Note. Okay, MC.
Let's now go to the interviews there. MC Cham I think is speaking to the press now.
For having a better Gambia. That's why my candidature is for Gambia. It's not only for a political party of GDC. Though I'm in favor of the GDC, but I'm also support and backed by the APRs in Auto Alliance under Yaya Jammeh. They are also here with me and other sympathizers from the other political parties. They are all here to support my candidature. It's not only for Josong, but the entire country.
How optimistic are you?
Of course, if you look at my crowd right now, and I have a very established committee who are working day to day, night, so that they make sure that I win the seat. It's not only the GDC committee, but the entire Gambia behind me to make sure that I win the seat.
So are you sure you submitted all the necessary requirements?
Here is not my first time to come into the nomination. So I know all the requirements. I have fulfilled all my requirements with the IEC.
What do you think you can contribute in National Assembly that could?
Yeah, the reason why I'm contesting is very simple. It's for betterment of every Gambian. My first priority is to tilling or to be champions collective fight against corruption in this country.
So, what did you prioritize most?
My priority is more about education, health, security in this country, and the living conditions of the Gambians, every Gambians.
What do you mean by that?
Right now, everybody is suffering in this country. If you look at 627 up to now, President Barrow's government didn't have proper checking by the Gambians, particularly our National Assembly elections. A government without a proper checking is a very dangerous government. Thank you. Yes.
There for you. I mean, the usual MC Cham they are speaking to you. Exactly. So that's MC Cham there speaking. I mean, he has outlined his practice areas, and so on. He talks about the living condition. He talks about what he said, corruption, and all that. And then you need to ensure that the government is checked.
MC has been one of those very outspoken
young politicians,
staunch critics of the Barrow administration. But again, I have to admit, he is mostly very constructive in his criticism, and I personally like the fact that he's talking about fighting corruption. He's talking about issues of accountability on the side of government. He's also talking about the betterment of Gambia, which we all want. And of course, he also mentioned what? Security. Education, and agriculture as his main priorities, and even health. I think it's important. MC, like I said, he's a young politician. Of course, you know, he's been very active from 2016. And yes, I think that too is going to be, his constituency really is going to be another battleground. He did contest, I think, in the last parliamentary elections.
Yeah,
unfortunately, he did not succeed. He may succeed this time around. You never know.
Yeah, and then if you look at the just one constituency, this is an area that really needs attention, especially if you look at the current state of Ibo town, for instance.
Yeah.
I mean, they really need somebody who will go to the parliament and really, you know, be their voices there. But
my in-law lives in Joshua.
Oh, you're right.
Yes, and I think you have family there as well. Exactly. So that is also one area, you know, I would love to see a very strong candidate, really.
Let's now try and get in touch with our reporter Ajibintu Drame, who is currently at the IC regional office. Ajibintu, I mean, we have had how to call it, MC Cham present his papers and then, you know, spoke to the press. He talked about the issue of, you know, education and other areas that he intended to focus on. What more can you tell us from his from his interview with the press?
Yes, MC Cham, alias Modu Ibrahim Cham, has already submitted all his documents. So the IEC returning officer for this region has given him a checklist for verification. After verification, he will call him today or later tomorrow for him to accept his acceptance or verification. After it has gone to the verification process on the 14 panel people under the IEC. So right now he's currently here and he's talking to the press, and he said that he's hopeful that he will win.
And now let's look at the crowd that he came with. I mean, how was it like? I mean, he mentioned that, you know, he has a backing of the APS, you know, to Alliance and other political parties.
Yes, as you can see behind me here, the crowd, they're clamoring. There are too many. Like, he has a lot of crowds here. They came with a lot of bosses, you know, to support their aspirant. And I must say, he's hopeful, like he mentioned. He said that he's very hopeful because he has huge support from his constituency.
Are you only seeing GDC colors there, or do you have, because he mentioned the APRC, you know, to Alliance camp as well, are you seeing any APRC t-shirts there?
Can you please come again? I can't hear you.
MC did mention that he has the backing of other parties, including the APRC NATO Alliance camp. From what you are seeing there, the crowd that he came with, or the crowd that accompanied him to the IEC office, are you seeing any APRC or other party T-shirts within the crowd as well?
Right now the crowd it is far away from the from the IEC office, but you can know because everybody is wearing a white T-shirt printed you know, his face printed or his party printed on his T-shirt. Okay. So what I can say is a lot of people are here, a lot of bosses, you know, came with him as his delegate in form of endorsement.
Perfect.
Yeah, just aji bintu balanga dem da soñu ko mëne tenka si kalama wolof ak soose rek if possible just pour wax ñi rek lan mo fa xew.
Okay, right now si olof rek la ko mëna bëgg. Ñu ko oyé tamit MC Cham nonu la ko nit gina ragné ñew na submit documents am yépp so légui submit na yépp té IEC returning officer bi fi ci gox bi KMC administrative area ñu ne ko né ñu ko jox ben kayit ñu ko oyé checklist ci laki tubab ñu ne ko né sun vérifier yépp manam affaire signature ci gox buñ joggé ñu ko signal pour mu mëna taxaw ñepp suñ ko vérifier mu 300 nen ko call ak yeneen paper sami so su nekkee yépp mutna tey o elek lu ci gëna nu ci gëna gaawé nen ko call pour elek su nekkee den ko accept elek mu indi mu ñëw fi ñu jox ko acceptance sami mu nekk e candidate so gannaaw loolu nak mom tey mom amna ndiraan yu bari nit yu bari ñëw nen toppade ay moto yu bari right now so ma déggé ni sa ci gannaaw ñepp nga yuhu ñu ngi jubilé pour rek ñu wone ñu ko support.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aji Bintu Drame. They are giving us live updates from Kanifing. We now go to Brikama, where my colleague Mamadou Gajaga is currently at Brikama Regional IEC office. Gajaga, if you can hear me loud and clear, what is the latest from Brikama?
But that's not the requirement according to the IEC regulation. Yes, that's the only. So we will fix that. It's only on the mandate of the IEC that will delay it. If left to me alone, I can fix it tomorrow. Yeah.
We seem to be having some technical issues there, but then just one of the GDC candidates in the West Coast region, we are speaking to the press. We will have to confirm who he is with our colleague Mamadou Gajaga, who is currently at Brikama IEC's regional office for us. I mean, like you said, viewers, earlier on, you know, you heard from my colleague Aji Bintu Drame. They are telling us the crowd, the huge crowd that has escorted MC Cham. MC
Of course, I think it's also important to inform our viewers that nomination is also going on simultaneously.
Exactly, yeah.
In Brikama and
in Brikama and you know Karawan, Mansa Konkom, Janjambore, and Bassa.
Yes, I mean, wax nga dëgg Aliou, MC still lim wax gannaaw bim joxe ay kayitam ba pare bi mu waxtaan ak taskati xibaar yi mooy ne benn moom bëgg naa xeex corruption mu génn Gambia dina taxaw tamit gis na fi wér gu yaram mbay mi ak jànga ak mu nekk loo xamante ne daal moom ci lu moo taxaw la rawatina ci biir constituency am tamit te foog naa ñun ñëpp loolu lañ bëgg kon ñu ko wis good luck xam nañ ne taxawoon na 2017 yàlla def amut nam mu ngi nii di taxawaat dafa mel ni ku ci mel ni MC ak Modou Dieng dafa mel ni li muy nekk seen second time ñu ñëwaat kon ñu ngi leen a wis good luck ba pare waxoon nga tamit ci NRP ci gannaaw ndax ñu doon laam-laamee ne xëj nañu taxawal ay nit xëj na duñ taxawal waaye foog naa léegi leer na jot nañ xibaar ci parti bi ne dinañ taxaw pour gis ne amaat nañ juróomi toogu yi nga xam ne lañ amoon te yeneen yi fanaa dañoo jàppale wante ak NR ak NPP.
Waaw 5 yooyu moo nekk Sabak Sanjal constituency, Lower Salem constituency, Upper Salem constituency, Nyanaja constituency, ak Nyamina Danko constituency. You might have 5 years NRP in a different parce que feel like I am win on this last presidential election bi.
Wow. Mang no watam ci gannaaw Aliou ci angale ne dañ am benn wécceeku boo xam ne am na ci constituency soo bàyyi xel depuis atum 2015 da ngaa gis ne okay, family,
let's now go to Brikama and listen to what is happening there.
It could be, yes, a loss for the side of the education system. It could also be a gain for the side of the nation.
That's
if you should call me that.
All right.
And if you call me, we should speak me inside.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Did you know the main function of the National Assembly?
Yes. People. The National Assembly is there to make law for the nation. Yes. They make the law for the nation to work on. Any society that has no law, even at the family house, the head of the family is bound to have a law that will guide the family members. And of course, the same thing can be applicable for any group of people, regardless of the number, toughness of a nation.
Finally, how confident are you?
Very confident. In a struggle, you don't even say, okay, I will lose. Only say I will win. And I'm very confident that I will win. It's called I will not call it a disappointment. It's not yet a disappointment. Because I still have a room to come back and submit what is missing of my document. Yes. Having done that, I have much confidence that it's not good to give yourself 100%, but a reasonable percentage that I will win. Yes.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
You're welcome. That's interesting. Simon I. Gomez there talking to the press about his ambition and his motivation to contest for the Fonyi Bintang Karambai constituency for the National Assembly under the ticket of the GDC, also being one of the candidates there. So it's quite interesting, and we will also have another candidate at 3 p.m. That should be the final candidate according to the IEC here at the Brikama IEC office.
Yeah,
so we look forward to seeing another candidate again also submitting his nomination papers, and that candidate is an independent candidate also contesting one of the constituencies, which we will confirm later.
Gajaga, could you kindly just give us an update as to what has been happening there since in the morning? I mean, we just know Simon I. Gomez, like you said, for Fonyi Bintang just presented his nomination papers. Who were the others that had appeared at the office before him?
Yes, Aliu, is quite interesting. When we arrived, we had already one candidate who has submitted his nomination papers for the GDC, is Abdullah F. Jallo. This is a candidate who is contesting for the Kombo South constituency seat. And Honorable Keba KK Barrow is somebody who, under the UDP ticket, came into the National Assembly. He is the majority leader. And earlier on, there is Momodu King Koli, also of GDC, Brikama South. He's also contesting under the ticket of the GDC. We also had a candidate by the name Musa A. Nyasi from Fonyi Kansala. He's also contesting for that constituency under the GDC ticket. And Lamin KB Bojang. This is quite very interesting because this Brikama North, this is a constituency where currently, or I would say, Alhaji S. Dabo is seeking re-election. Alhaji S. Dabo of the United Democratic Party. Alhaji S. Dabo, many people would know him. He worked in youth and sports, and as well as when it comes to the education field, also he's been a teacher for so many years before getting into politics and now into the National Assembly. So he's seeking the election. So the guy who is contesting against him under the GDC ticket is Lamin KB Bojang, has been one of the executives of the Gambia Democratic Congress, that's the GDC. So he's sounding very optimistic when he was asked questions about what motivated him. He talks about Brikama, when it comes to infrastructure, has been, completely poor at the market, also the roads, and if you look at even the environment in particular, he talks about the Brikama Nyambai forest, which has, on a sad note, become like a dumping ground. People have just used it to go there and dump their waste indiscriminately, so which is not good for the environment. So he said all those are things that, if elected, he would be able to change, and he would be able to support bills that would, promulgate laws that will change those issues. And when it comes to development, he said Brikama deserves better, not its current state. So another candidate who also just submitted his nomination papers is Simon I. Gomez, also for the GDC in Funi Bintang. He talks about, the reasons why he wanted to contest is to be the voice for his people and the nation in particular. So basically that's what's been happening here so far.
So, how was the crowd that escorted them there?
Yes, lots of, I would say, handful of crowd, because they would only allow you with 10 people who can escort you together to come into the main venue. So others would just stay behind. Some of them are just drumming and dancing there. But basically, that's the atmosphere here. It's done in a very calm atmosphere and very peaceful manner as well.
You talk about expecting another candidate, independent candidate. From which constituency is he coming from? He or she coming
We're
from?
not sure yet constituency, but basically, in fact, the candidate is about to get inside the premises now. He's just about to come in to submit his documents.
And any idea whether Gambia for All Party is putting up any candidate, Gajaga, because they're also on the schedule today?
Yes, Gambia for All, as of now, no candidate has appeared to come and submit his or her nomination papers for now. From my understanding, I think they are not putting up a candidate for today, or there is no candidate from the Gambia for All party that is going to submit his or her nomination papers today.
All right, thank you very much, Modu Gajaga. We understand Gambia for All Party is scheduled at 3 p.m., but we hope they will put up a candidate maybe in the West Coast region. And Sumana, you've heard from Gajaga, they are telling us, GDC has really put up a quite good number of candidates in the West Coast region, Fonye, Bintang, Brikama, Combo South. And according to him, they all appear confident. That they are going to win. They have several issues regarding the status of Brikama, the Nyambaya forest, and all other important issues that they intend to tackle if elected in Parliament.
Yeah, I think the West Coast region is, one of GDC's. They've been doing quite well of recent within the West Coast region, especially around the Fonyi end as well, where we've seen even during the presidential elections, they were able to win one of those constituencies. So I think for me, it's no surprise, and of course this is where they're going to put up, I think, more candidates than in other constituencies. So yes, we hope that they will do well as well in West Coast region.
And still on JDC, like we said, earlier on we said, they had 5 in 2017. Along the line, almost 3 had switched to the president. That's the Jokadu constituency, Jara Central constituency. We understand Nyamina East had passed away, Dambaso passed away before the end of his term. And then they remained with only 2, that is Omar Sisa of Nyamina West and Alaji Sow of Jemara constituency. And especially in the case of Alaji Sow, both are seeking re-election. Do you think they stand a chance of going back to the parliament, especially Alaji Sow of Jemara constituency, where the president actually hails from, and NPP is putting up a candidate? Well, I understand our correspondent Alhassan Ba is also on the line from Mansa Konko in the Lower River region. Alhassan, good afternoon. What is the latest from Mansa Konko?
Thank you very much, Ale. Today, as you know, GDC candidates will be filing their nomination at the IEC regional office. We are at Mansa Konko regional office right now, and already GDC and GDC have already, 2 of their candidates have already submitted their nomination because we are waiting for GFA, Gambia for All Party, Gambia for All People, Gambia for All, these days sometimes. So, but actually, the first person who came from Jara is Mama Dem. Mama Dem is a former journalist who said he's going to contest for the parliamentary election. Just like yesterday, the CA guy who will be protecting with. So, but Mama Dem, when we engage him, he said a lot of things. Actually, sometimes I'm really confused. What actually is the job of a parliamentarian when they actually talk to people? Because they'll be saying what they'll be doing at the local level, like they have a budget, instead of talking to people exactly how the National Assembly work, what do they want to change in the National Assembly, how do they want to help the National Assembly and the government to change the narrative. He was talking about he wants to develop the agricultural sector, and we asked him the question is, how is he going to do that in the National Assembly? He was kind of like, I don't know, confused of how to answer those questions. But the fact of the matter is, most parliamentarians in the Gambia, we have seen repeatedly promising to do certain things that we actually know may not be their actual job. After his nomination, Salif Endem came. Salif Endem is a former teacher and a former school monitor who is, for Mamadou, is a young person. For the Jara, is GDC candidate. It's a very young person, very energetic. But for Salif Endem, for him, he's an old person. He's the old school people, he was a teacher and a school monitor. Same engagement we had with him. And he was recalling when he was a councillor what he was able to do in his constituency. We also asked one important question the GRPS guy asked was, we have seen National Assembly members, when they are elected, they go to the Kumbos, look for luxury homes, live there, and never consult their people back in the constituencies to how the National Assembly is working. For example, like if they want to pass a bill, what should have happened is National Assembly members should have gone to the regions, districts to talk to people before going to accept, say, yes or no. But they said that narrative will change from their side. But actually, we could not see them talk to us about exactly what they want.
You talk about Salif Dem, if I get you right. Which constituency is he representing?
Jara Central.
Jara Central.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's also building an alliance with the NATO Alliance, APRC, the APRC NATO Alliance. Those are the people who accompany him to the ground, for nomination. And he said he's not with APRC, but APRC No Alliance.
And on the side of Mamadou Dem of Jara, is he also forming an alliance with the APRC NATO Alliance? And how was the crowd that escorted him there?
He's only with the GDC. He has not talked about that. He said he's representing GDC for these elections, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Al Hassan Ba. We will get back to you, and then we now go back to KM, where Ajipitu Drame is there for us. We understand another candidate has arrived at the KM regional office on the GDC ticket. We will just start build reconnection with Ajipitu Drame, who is currently like you are seeing on your images right now. Another candidate has arrived at the KM.
It appears this is another GDC candidate, Ali.
Yeah.
Because he's in GDC's colors.
Well, you can easily tell with that color anyway.
Yeah, it's been real business for the GDC.
Exactly.
These parliamentary elections.
Exactly. And yes, like you are seeing, viewers, those are live images from the IEC regional office here in Carnifin. Another candidate there to present nomination papers. You have heard from our correspondent, Alassane Ba, telling us, they have received two nominations from two candidates in the Lower River region, Mamadou Dem, Jara East, and another Salif Dem, Jara Central. Remember, Jara Central used to be a very stronghold of the GDC. Even the current candidate there actually contested on the GDC. That is Keba Jallo.
I mean, like I said,
who is among those who switched and is now with the NPP.
With the NPP. I think the Jaras, Nyamina, Jimara, and the West Coast, and Serakunda West and East, these are going to be battlegrounds. For the GDC and the Jaras, you expect them to do well because these have been strongholds for the party since 2016. But again, times have changed. We're seeing other parties also putting up very strong candidates. We're seeing very strong independent candidates. So would the GDC be able to maintain that dominance they had I mean, within these constituencies.
Especially in Jara Central.
We have to see, especially in Jara Central. Especially in Jara Central. So, I mean, we would see, you know, as the campaign progresses, and even on election day, if they will be able to maintain that dominance within those constituencies. But again, I think for me, I am impressed with, you know, how serious the party has been with these parliamentary elections. For the GDC, the UDP, and even the NPP, they've put up very strong candidates, and they are contesting the majority of these constituencies, which is a good thing.
Good thing. That's Ansumana Esonyasi. Like you talk about the other parties. Tomorrow Tuesday we're having the Gambia Moral Congress Party is scheduled to appear tomorrow. GPDP, Henry Gomez, and NCP are all scheduled for tomorrow. And then on the 9th of March, that's Wednesday, we have the National People's Party (NPP) at 9 a.m. We have NRP at 12 p.m. and the National Unity Party at 3 p.m. And on Thursday, we have PDYS at 9 a.m., PPP 12 p.m., United Democratic Party at 3 p.m. And on Friday, 11 March, we have the independent candidates from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then the 12th and 13th March is the receipt of correction on nomination papers. If you have submitted papers and there were some errors here and there, I mean, they're going to...
So for tomorrow's, I mean, parties that are expected to file in their nominations, I don't see NCP, you know, filing in nominations tomorrow,
GPDP,
given their relationship with the NPP and even the GPDP as
Henry
well.
Gomez.
I don't see them also filing in candidates. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but then I don't see that happening. For the GMC too, I'm not sure if they contest some of these constituencies. I know that the party leader
my party is going to contest
interest in contesting
in Woolly. Which is going to be quite very interesting.
You have what? What's the name of the lady again?
Kijera,
who was
GMC and then switch to UDP.
Yeah, and then switch. She's contesting there.
Under UDP.
CDA is contesting
CDA
there.
Jata is seeking re-election. My
party as well. That too is a battleground. I know. We wait to see how this would pan out.
It's going to be interesting,
very,
really,
very
right? When I saw the list, I was like, wow, this is really going to be very interesting.
But again, I think the constituency stands to benefit really more from this. Mai is highly educated. He's a very experienced politician who has served in government as well. So he understands our governance system. And, you know, he studied law as well. So you look at Sidia too, and even Kijera is good. She's a very outspoken woman as well. So for me, I think these are the kind of candidates I would like to see, or I would love to see in all constituencies across the country. It's good we have people like that, people of their caliber, I mean, coming up and contesting in this very important parliamentary election. So for the people of Woolly, this is a blessing for you.
Indeed.
To have people like, I mean, Mai, Sidia, and even Kijera.
And who knows, perhaps the NPP might even put up a candidate in Woolly
so
as well.
It's good for the constituency. I was saying earlier that in 2015, we had this transition. The IEC demarcated constituencies like what Combonot, which used to be the biggest constituency in Gambia back then. I remember even during the presidential elections and even parliamentary elections, I mean, whatever party dominates those areas, naturally you win.
We used to call it the powerhouse.
The powerhouse. So,
Ansumana, I understand our correspondent Ibrahima Jallo is on the line from Janjambure in the Central River region. Ibrahima, what's the latest from Janjambure?
Hello, Ibrahima.
I was here in Janjambure this afternoon, and things are going on very fine here. The crowd is very huge, and the candidates are coming in to present their nomination document. So far, 5 candidates have presented their nomination document under the GDC ticket.
Who are these 5 candidates, Ibrahima?
Things are going here fine. We have the candidate already, the Umar Sise, the sitting MP of
Nyamina West.
Is here, and he's here talking to the press,
Nyamina
so I
East,
would like to put him on the phone. Hello. Sorry, Kumar. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Honorable.
think he's trying to
exactly.
have honorable on the line.
Our correspondent Ibrahim Diallo, they are trying to speak to Honorable Umar Sise of Nyamina East constituency, who is seeking re-election under the GDC ticket. Umar Sise is currently at the IC regional office in Janjambore.
It's important to note that he was the youngest in the last parliament, the youngest parliamentarian.
Was very outspoken, huh?
Very, very outspoken.
Very outspoken.
I remember he would tell me, "Man, my chatty parliament," you know. But yes, he's also a very outspoken politician who we have seen. I mean, has a very close relationship with his constituents. You see, even during the rainy season, he would
he
go
goes back there to farm,
like a normal person, and very humble character as well. I think for me, he's one of those politicians I have high regards for.
But irrespective of that, he still have a.
This is going to be a tough battle for him as well, because the NPP is putting up candidates there, and so yes, and even Aliu, for me, really, I have to say this again, the quality of some of the candidates that these parties are putting up, I so admire. I mean, this is what we need for our democracy, because we want to have people in parliament who are educated, who understand issues, and people who have the interest of their constituents at heart. That is what we want. Those are the kind of people we need in parliament. So it's good we have people like him as well.
Yeah, but I mean, you've heard from our correspondent, Alaji Alasan Ba.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them, I mean, they will tell you, I want to do this, I want to do this, but how are you going to do it?
I think it's about understanding your role and your function as a National
It seems
Assembly
some of them don't actually understand where their limit is as National Assembly members, because some people are thinking about
building roads,
electricity, building roads. I'm like,
that is not the.
Or maybe that's just way of how we do politics in this country.
I think you have to be honest, and you have to try and understand your role as a parliamentarian. It is not to build roads for people. You're there to provide an oversight function over government, to enact laws, but also advocate for development projects for your people.
Exactly.
And to also, I mean, when it comes to the national budget, that is your main function as well. So it's not about building roads or, like some of these candidates are saying. I think they either do not understand the role of a parliamentarian, or they're doing it deliberately to, win votes, which for me is wrong.
In the event that, you really want to advocate, I mean, in the case you're on the opposing side of government, it always proves difficult.
Of course, it would. I mean, politics is about interest, Aliu. But
and I think it's because of that so many people just choose to go with the candidate that is put up by the ruling party.
You have that, but again, I think this is
should that be the way to determine who to vote for? Should you just vote for the person because the person is put up by the ruling party?
I think it should be about competence. It should be about someone who is from within the constituency, knows the issues, development challenges that the constituency is confronted with. Someone who is competent, like I said, not just anybody. I mean, the fact that you have a ruling party or a certain party that you support, I mean, putting up a candidate, if the person is not competent enough.
Exactly.
I think
and now our correspondent in the North Bank region, Kerawan, Don Williams, is back on the line. Don, what's the latest from Kerawan?
Yes, and you?
What's the latest from Kerawan?
Well, fine. Actually, here in Kerawan, the nomination process is going on right smoothly, because we have almost all the GDC contestants are here, like Babukan Soon was the very first contestant to come, the very first candidate who came here to present nomination. He's very young, handsome, dressed very neatly, nicely dressed, colorfully dressed, with his accent here. So he went through the nomination process quite all right without any problem.
So Chun is handsome like Ansumana Esonyasi, right?
Also was Modubab. Modubab, you see him a very handsome young man as well, dressed in black and white, so just as if like a lawyer, very neatly dressed. We show that he's ready to represent his constituency in the parliament, because his appearance is very unique. But also he went through the nomination process quite all right, and followed by Mustafa Dukure of Serkat Badibu. Central Badibu. He came with everything, all the documents. The only thing he was asked that he should change the size of his logo, which was a bit bigger. That was the only thing he was asked to regularize, which he should do that and bring it to them, to the officials. But and then he was told the verification committee will go through all necessary documents, and whatever any objection, and the objection time will be set. If anything, it will be communicated to. Then also the first candidate. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Don.
Hello.
Yes, Don. I can hear you.
Yes, and then the first candidate is Samba Fall from Sabatanjai. Samba Fall from Sabatanjai, also dressed in light purple outfit, very young and some. What I observe here, Aliu, I've observed that you have more youth. The youth, the aspirants are very useful. They are prepared. It seems as if the youths are ready to take their rightful place in decision making. Here in Kerewan. And in Kerewan here, I will tell you, if you can hear the background, you have the supporters are here of GDC. They are here, they are drumming, dancing, having a very wonderful time. The atmosphere is very, very nice.
Indeed, the atmosphere there is very, very nice. I mean, you give a perfect description of how this.
To do, they are just looking when the people are just the ambience is very nice.
Thank you very much, Don Williams, our correspondent. We are trying to give us a very nice description of how these aspiring candidates appeared.
I said earlier.
That's normal. When they come, they appear soon.
They're all looking very handsome.
Exactly. Well, maybe next election you will also go back and contest in your constituency.
But I
mean, exactly. We will now go back to the IEC regional office in Kanifing, and then. To know what's happening there, we understand another candidate has arrived there to present nomination papers. We'll find out shortly as our correspondent, our reporter Ajibilu Dram is there. But then let's now go with the interview. I understand the particular aspiring candidate is speaking to the press now.
Of the GDC party.
So on 2017 you lost the election.
Yes.
And here you are trying to contest again.
Yes.
How optimistic are you this time around that you are going to win this year?
Yes, because this time we are big and better. And we are ready, and we know the problems, and we know the challenges in 2017, and we are addressing them one by one. So obviously we are very hopeful. If you look at the people that we came with, obviously they only have one voice. And that is to build back better. Huh?
I said to be specific, what are these problems that you saw?
Yes, one can be incompetence in leadership, and 2, lack of electoral participation, and 3 can be also representation, which is also a problem because all of us are from Ladikunda Saviji constituency. But we hardly see the sitting MP, engaging the electorates at least to sound our opinion. And he is there as a representative, and what we expected was at this time to time, he will have come around and at this so that we can channel our problems to him, despite the political parties that we belong to. So that's why part of our manifestos, we said the electorates are going to be highly involved in our decision makings or in parliament during submission, so that at this they also can put their ideas or opinion across, so that when we are there, it is only a voice that will represent the Latikunda Saviji constituency in addressing their problems.
So what are your priorities if elected?
Yes, my priority 1 I know is to support and promote fiscal policies. That's 1. 2, we also will work hard in promoting to demoralize hate speech, because we all understand right now, this tribal sentiment which is going on, and I believe it should be criminalized because it is not helping us in any way. Politics is about battle of ideas, so this is what we expect from all politicians, and I believe this should be very much enforced, whereby if one makes such comments, a very harsh punishment is waiting for you. It's one of the priorities, and also we will also champion in addressing our people's problems, because they have shortage of water, even though most will argue that MPs does not have a budget, but at least we can use our office to lobby for projects, because we have seen it in other constituencies. So why not Ladikunda Saviji constituency?
Okay, if you are to introduce a bill, a private member bill to the parliament, which one would be your first bill to introduce?
Yes, I think it is going to be the term limit. Yes.
Why the term limit?
No, we deserve it, because look at the generation that is coming up. And today the political arena is dominated by young people. But it is only in the Gambia whereby the president will sit and will want to die in the seat. So obviously you have 10 years to serve. From there is somebody, I believe, better than you in all areas who should come and replace you. But we don't expect leaders to be there for 15, 20, or 30 years. So I believe it is a priority that Gambians should call for. And I believe it's part of the things that I will highly promote, and including also majority rule. Because still now we are living with simple rule. You can see with one vote at this department we will sit there. And I believe to enhance our democracy, that also will help a lot.
Now from the National Assembly complex, let's go back to your constituency.
Yes.
What have you done that made you decide, or that made you think that you are the right candidate for your people?
Yes, just as I said, in 2017 I contested and I lost. And you know, all the problems in Ladikunda Sabiji, so far as the constituency is concerned, I don't think there is no candidate or the sitting MP who can match me to the contribution that I make towards the development of my people. One is to support youth development. From the elections, I organize free football tournament. And this is to bring all youths together. And I form a committee that is very diverse in tribes, that is very diverse in politics. And the tournament has been running. Even the sitting MP, I invited him in every final or opening to grace it, so that the young people out there can see that politics is just a time, and it is a community that all of us are expected to put our efforts together in moving the constituency forward. From there also, we only have one mutuality, the whole of Fajikunda. And for example, if a person died, it's very difficult during night time, because they always find it difficult to transport the body all the way to Banjul. So when they came to me, after appealing everywhere, it was impossible. So when I was approached, alhamdulillah, I bought an AC costing 38,000 and we did the installation. In Fajikunda Hospital, I also facilitated medicine donation towards $80,000. From there also, when we talk about during the COVID-19, I donated 100 bags of rice, 100 bags of gallon oil, then you have sugar and other materials. And at the same time also, I have been a voice for my people, in the sense that anytime they come up with something that is not to their interest, like our MP in Parliament, obviously I did not win. But that should not stop me from speaking. I always make sure that I will either write or have an interview, at least to put the minds and the hearts of my people across. So I have been contributing. Football teams, I have been helping them, you know, because our constituency is dominated by two. And this is the youth and the women. And these people should be our priority in everything that we do. So, but first, they must unite in order to build this constituency. So that's why I started with the GDC, with the free football tournament, in which we have seen some are very unfortunate at this to get sponsorship out of there. Some were by school football materials and other stuff. So all these are part of our responsibilities that we took upon ourselves in making sure that we will contribute our quota before next election. That is the election that we are about to face. Thank you, sir.
Well, that's Ibrahima Nyang. Ibrahima Nyang is one of the aspiring candidates under the GDC ticket, rather for Latrikunda Sabiji constituency. He will be contesting against that's the last candidate we understand for the GDC in KM today. And Ansumana, you have heard him talk to the press, and he talked on quite relevant issues that he intends to look at if elected. He talks about the issue of criminalizing hate speech. He talks about term limit. I mean, he talks about what he has been doing in his community, such as organizing free football tournament, providing COVID-19 relief package, donating over 100 bags of rice, among other things that he intends to look at. He also talked about issue of mutuality, that they don't have a mutual stuff like that. I mean,
for me, if anything, he is a candidate who has a track record of contributing to the development of his community, and that is important. It shows that he understands the issues his people are dealing with. However, these elections, and it's about people having to make a choice, between a set of people, who they think would better represent them. So he's put up a very strong case, and I like the fact that, one of his main priorities is criminalizing hate speech. It's a problem. It's a problem in this country. We've had conflicts in other parts of the world, that if not have been sparked by hate speech, have been in some way, fueled by hate speech. And I think it's important, because you look at our political situation now, especially in the past 2 years, you realize that hate speech has been on the increase, whether we admit it or not. So it's good that you have, politicians talking about it, trying to create awareness that this is something we really need to do away with. Regarding, building unity, strengthening unity amongst us, I think it's important. He did talk about the fact that whenever he has events, he would invite Honorable Sekou Marong there, who is the sitting MP, I think it's important. They're from different parties, yet they're able to work together when it comes to development of their people. This, I think, for me, should be an example for all other constituencies.
Thank you very much, my colleague Ansumana Esonyasi. Viewers, you're still watching QTV, and we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue, right behind the QCell main building. My name is Aliou Sese, and we are bringing live coverage of the ongoing nomination ahead of the parliamentary election on 9th April. Like I said, I mean, that was the last candidate for the JDC in the Kanifing municipality. That's Ibrahim Anyang, who is contesting, who is aspiring to contest under the GDC ticket for Latrikunda Sabaje constituency. And let's now take a look at what's been happening yesterday and what people have been saying.
History, because it's my first time to contest for an elected position, and a very, very important position, which is that of the National Assembly. So obviously I'm elated and happy, and thanking God as well. I like to be addressed spokeswoman, because man jigen ñi lay taxawal, jigen ñi lay represent. So bëgg naa buñ ne spokeswoman ñu xam ne yëfi jigen la. Waaw, dëgg la man maa nekk spokeswoman yi Citizens Alliance, yore carte parti bi, di yore jokkalante bi between parti bi ak nit ñi. Di ci sant Yàlla rek ne tey boo gisee bés bi nii du ma ne Citizens Alliance di jox Yàlla taranga gi yëpp, waaye ñoom it ñoo ma gën a puus ba ma toll fu ma toll nii. So di ci kontaan rek, di leen gërëm, di leen sant. I've done the groundwork, and I know my people need the caliber of Nene to represent them. Like you said, I'm glad you mentioned the first woman to represent Serekunda West, all right? So it's a great achievement, and it's a great stride for me to be the one to have stepped up to say I want to represent my constituency, being a young person as a woman from that constituency. But I always want to emphasize, it's not only about my constituency, it's about Gambia, because that house is not a constituency house, it's a National Assembly house, which means it represents everybody, Gambians and people living in the Gambia. So for me, this is not about my constituency. Yes, they will be the one to vote, because they're the ones who are registered within that constituency. But when I get in that house, I represent everybody standing here, everybody that lives in the Gambia. I pledge to represent you, and I hope I'll represent you to expectation.
Well, that's Nene Freda Gomez of CA. They are speaking to the press yesterday after she had presented her nomination papers to the IC regional office in Kanifing. Nene is the current spokeswoman of the Citizens Alliance, and the second as of yesterday to express our interest to contest in the upcoming parliamentary election. Ansman, you have heard from Nene Freda Gomez, quite courageous lady.
Indeed, I mean, she's one of those very outspoken women that have been very active in politics in the past years. And I think, I mean, like I said, I'm happy to see people of her caliber, you know, expressing interest to contest in these parliamentary elections. I want to see more women in parliament. I want to see more young people in parliament, which I am hopeful would happen, especially with what Don Williams already you know, told us what is happening around the Jokadu, Nyamina, and I think it's good. So I mean, I wish her all the best of luck.
Thank you very much, Ansumana Isu Nyasi. Well, viewers, you're still watching QTV, and we are broadcasting from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue, and our reporters are across all the 7 administrative areas, IEC regional offices, to bring us up to speed as to whatever is happening there as far as the ongoing nominations are concerned. I mean, we will go with a short break, but we'll be back here at 2:45 to bring you whatever is going to happen at the regional offices, because we understand Gambia for All Party is scheduled to appear at 3 p.m. So just to remind you, this nomination is going simultaneously across all the 7 regional IEC offices in the country, and that's why you're getting a latest updates from all our reporters across the country. We'll be back here at 2:45.